It's the calm before the storm, folks. For years, the woke mob has been on the prowl, attacking and canceling everything in their sight, everything they disagree with. Roseanne Barr dares to suffer from side effects of a sleeping pill and accidentally writes something she regrets. Canceled. The New York Post questions the origins of the coronavirus. Canceled. Old tweets from over a decade ago posted by new Teen Vogue editor. She's forced to resign and then gets canceled. The woke mob has been on a reign of terror for far too long, but now there are finally a few standing up to them. It's the woke wars, folks. 17-star General Dave Chappelle leading the charge. Here he is telling us all about what he's told he can and cannot say and what he's going to do about it. Watch.
I want everyone in this audience to know that even though the media frames this, that it's me versus that community, that is not what it is. Do not blame the LGBTQ community for any of this. This has nothing to do with them. It's about corporate interests and what I can say and what I cannot say.
You know, we've been saying that for a long time here. Dave's right. It's about corporate interests. It's the corporate boardrooms that enable the woke groups. It empowers the woke groups. It fuels the woke groups' armies. It gives them ammo. He is 100% right. Woke groups disinvited Dave Chappelle from everywhere so he couldn't show his documentary about his stand-up shows in Ohio. And this, you got to watch this, folks.
I made a whole documentary about it. This film that I made was invited to every film festival in the United States, and some of those invitations I accepted. And when this controversy came out about the closer, they began disinviting me from these film festivals. And now, today, not a film company, not a movie studio, not a film festival, nobody will touch this film. Thank God for Ted Sarandos and Netflix. He's the only one that didn't cancel me yet.
So Chappelle makes a documentary about the film, about the stand-up, The Closer, in which, if you haven't seen it, watch it, folks. Chappelle spends 20 minutes explaining he comes from the same place that the LGBTQ plus community comes from. It's amazing. Yet he gets canceled by the LGBTQ plus community. These people don't understand. Chappelle walked away from $50 million. He's not going to bend to their demands. He's got a few of his own.
And if you want to meet with me, I'd be more than willing to, but I have some conditions. First of all, you cannot come if you have not watched my special from beginning to end. You must come to a place of my choosing and a time of my choosing. And thirdly, you must admit that Hannah Gadsby is not funny.
All right, so this is all about you have to watch his special. And he's right, watch his special. If every person in the LGBT community watched his special, I don't think they'd be fighting him. But fighting alongside Dave Chappelle, also targeting the hypocrisy of woke corporations. We'll call Brigadier General and center for the Boston Celtics, Enes Kanter. Kanter says Nike is scared to speak up against China. He actually writes stuff on his sneakers. Kanter is pushing back against Nike and China. Listen.
Nike remains vocal about injustice here in America. But when it comes to China, Nike remains silent. You do not address police brutality in China. You do not speak about discrimination against the LGBTQ community. You do not say a word about the oppression of minorities in China. You are scared to speak up.
It's important what he's saying right there. Nike is scared to speak up because they sell a lot of shoes in China. I get that. NBA is scared to speak up against China because they're held, a lot of their games are broadcast in China. They make a lot of money. There have been multiple reports that Nike shoes are made with forced labor by Uyghur Muslims. Nike denies the claims, but it doesn't change the fact that China's committing human rights violations. And Kanter, what he did was amazing. He puts free China, free Uyghurs on the side of his shoes. He's putting his money where his mouth is. But listen to what Kanter says. He goes further. Watch.
There are so many forced labor factories in China. For instance, Uyghur forced labor in modern-day slavery. And it is happening right now in China. Millions of Uyghurs are currently detained, sold, and assigned to work at forced labor camps, prisons, and factories across the country. They are under constant surveillance with long working hours and poor living conditions.
So remember when Nike stood up and stood behind Colin Kaepernick? Well, they did that because it was easy. It was here in America, and they had the woke mob behind them. Where's Nike standing up against the NBA and especially against China with the human atrocities that we all know happen in China right now? Nike is woke in America to make money, not woke in China to make money. Hypocrisy. Hey, Henry, got the bell? Standing alongside Enes and Chappelle to fight the woke wars, let's call him Rear Admiral comedian Bill Maher. Now, Maher sums up the situation in one soundbite, I believe. Listen.
Liberals need a stand your ground law for cancel culture, so that when the woke mob comes after you for some ridiculous offense, you'll stand your ground. Stop apologizing. 80% of Americans, young, old, rich, poor, conservative, liberal, white, minority, all hate the current atmosphere of hypersensitivity. Yeah, everybody hates it, and no one stands up to it.
No,
because it's always the safe thing. Swallow what you really think and just join the mob.
It's tough. It's hard to do. Maher's a liberal. He's a leftist hero, and he's going against the woke mob, which is all on the left. That takes guts, folks. You may not like Bill Maher for his politics or his brand of humor, but Bill Maher is doing what's very, very difficult to do, is stand up for what you believe in, even though your side might not like that. We know a lot about that. Also fighting an unlikely ally. Let's call her the chairwoman of the Joint Chief of Staff in this war, Condoleezza Rice. She's fighting a two-front battle against Whoopi Goldberg and the ladies on The View and liberal writer Torre. Take a look. Here's about CRT.
In the midterms, and one of the key issues up for debate is how much of a voice parents should have in their child's school curriculum, especially when it comes to subjects like sex education and critical race theory. I thought they didn't teach critical race theory until they went to, like, law school or something.
That's right.
I sure hope not, because I'm not certain 7-year-olds need to learn it.
And Rice is so smart here. She took on the ladies of The View. That wasn't easy. Whoopi Goldberg completely blew that. CRT, I think she was repeating that Democrat talking line that CRT isn't taught anywhere. Remember, we talked about the editor from Axios, and of course we know about McCullough in Virginia. Doesn't it tick you off when they pretend you're not smart enough? They pretend you're not paying attention? But Rice said something very important right after that, and I think this sums up the whole race debate. Watch what she had to say.
I would like black kids to be completely empowered, to know that they are beautiful in their blackness. But in order to do that, I don't have to make white kids feel bad for being white.
So important. I think everyone should agree with that. It's kind of like all lives matter. It really makes sense. Embrace your black children. They're beautiful, but don't make them feel that white children are not beautiful because of their color. Absolutely ridiculous. You can't really argue with that unless you're Torre. He goes by Torre like he's one name like Prince or something. His real name is Torre Neblet. We called her a white supremacist on the griot. Called her a foot soldier for white supremacy. That's ridiculous. Politicians, comedians, athletes can only fight the woke war for so long. They need a strong military to lead it, and that's where you have to have soldiers, parents fighting against the infestation of wokeness and critical race theory in our schools.
You just watched Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news channel, now in more than 70 million homes. You can get Newsmax TV on your cable system or check your cable guide. And if your system doesn't carry Newsmax, call them, tell them you want Newsmax TV, because we're real news for real people.